The world needs to know about the atrocities that another dictator is committing in Cameroon. I don't even know where to start. But you guys need to know that President Biya is allegedly presently killing protesters and activists right now in southern Cameroon. He has shut down the internet in southern Cameroon so that no one can publish pictures and videos. He also shut down a popular radio station because that radio station held an on-air debate on the ongoing strike, which I'll talk about later. And you may be wondering why the sudden clampdown on media, or why is he trying to prevent us from knowing what is going on? Well, I told you guys in December that the people of southern Cameroon have been protesting. They've been protesting now for months. Remember how soldiers were beating university students in Biya University, that is in southern part of Cameroon? Well, besides protesting what's going on their campus at that time, these people have been protesting being marginalized since 1961 when they became part of northern Cameroon. As you guys know, northern Cameroon was colonized by France, so they speak French. Southern Cameroon was colonized by Britain, so they speak English. Although if you look at the map, it's actually like southwest and it's very close to Nigeria, so it borders Nigeria. So when the African countries were getting their independence at that time, they refused to allow southern Cameroon to stand as a country by itself. You're too small to be a country. You can either join Nigeria or join the Republic du Cameroon, which is French. So southern Cameroon decided to be part of Cameroon because they used to be one before colonization. You guys know that colonial masters just drew a map and divided Africa among themselves. They basically colonized everybody except Ethiopia, although they tried. Ethiopians kicked them out, and Liberia was also never colonized. So they joined Cameroon, but they demanded that the constitution be amended to allocate them, to accommodate them without marginalizing them. They had a written agreement that Cameroon would be a federal state, a two-state federation. The agreement was that the South would be allowed to manage its own natural resources and run their own system without any interference from the French-speaking part of the country. They wanted their own autonomy. They speak English, so they practice the English common law. Unfortunately, the government brushed aside all the demands tabled by the Southern Cameroon delegation. In fact, few years after they signed that agreement, the president at that time dissolved the federation without a referendum. He didn't even consult Southern Cameroon. And when Biya became president, he actually made it worse. It's like France is now recolonizing Southern Cameroon. I said France because, as you guys must have observed, almost all former French colonies in Africa till today are still practically being controlled by France. And most of the former French colonies till today are not stable. I mean, look at Central African Republic, look at Burundi, look at Mali, Chad, Niger. I know that a lot of Cameroonians like to deceive themselves by saying that Cameroon is peaceful, but you need to see the agreement that they signed with France, which is still in operation till today. Some people are saying that it has been amended. I'm yet to see the new copy. This is the copy that I saw, that France still determines the political, economic, and socio-cultural choices of Cameroon. That is just wrong. That tells me that Biya is just a puppet in the hands of France, which is why he spends more time there on vacation than in his own country. France still manages Cameroon's currency. That is Central African franc. Franc, by the way, is what they used to spend in France before they switched to euro. But Cameroon is still spending franc. They call it Central African franc. France still determines the school curriculum in Cameroon at all levels. That is just wrong. That the curriculum in Cameroon is coming from France. Can you imagine? Do you know that 100% of Cameroon's foreign exchange reserve is kept in France? In fact, they put it in their public treasury. They call it operations account. Cameroon still pays taxes to France. Heck no! And part of the agreement is that the strategic raw materials of Cameroon till today have to be exploited by France in priority. It is only if France is not interested that Cameroon can now find another partner or exploit it themselves. So imagine that they cannot exploit their own natural resources. Not only that, France is willing to send military backup in case of any external aggression or internal rebellion. I mean, how did they know that the people would rebel against the puppet? Really? Of course, people are tired of not only France, but 34 years under Biya. Hello? I don't blame them. The ridiculous thing is that they send French-speaking teachers to go and be teaching students in the Anglophone region of Cameroon. Imagine your teacher up there saying bonjour, comment ça fait, and you like, say what? I mean, we're not communicating. It's so bad that they are sending them French judges who have no understanding of the English common law. They use civil law in France. Like, how is that gonna work? Also, when you finish school, if you don't speak French in Cameroon, it's so hard to get a job.
When you finish writing, you have a good grade, but you're unable to have be in the big position which I always dreamt of.
For over 50 years, Anglophone children have not been able to have a headway in Cameroon in those disciplines that will bring about development, science and technology, because the government had refused to train teachers for our schools.
Thank you, my brother. I mean, just imagine. So they've been protesting for 2 months. Lawyers and teachers have been on strike, protesting. And as usual, Biya is arresting people.
Protesters in the country's Anglophone region say they're sick of the French language dominating their lives. Violent clashes have erupted in Bamenda as police and demonstrators go head-to-head.
Anglophones should be given the right to manage their own affairs. There have never been a minister of finance from Anglophone. There have never been a president from Anglophone.
If that bill were to be adopted by the upper house, we are going to resort to plan B. Are we clear? Yeah!
This Anglophone lawyer has just been physically assaulted by the security forces.
Yes. Look, the senior colleague is peacefully.
By the way, that was a lawyer that they just manhandled. I mean, what do you think they would do to regular people if they are doing that to a lawyer? You know, I would never understand some African policemen and soldiers. That mentality of harassing your own people, killing your own people because of a dictator, it baffles me. I don't get it. Biya allocates more money for his own birth region, the region where he came from, than the whole of the Anglophone part of the country. Can you believe, because of lack of resources, that there are schools where 2 teachers are teaching at the same time in the same classroom?
So if we talk about God, therefore God exists. Yes. So when you look at the text, what I say, if the same text will say that.
What's that? What did I just watch? Hey! I beg, play it one more time.
It is supposed to where the exist. One word is more God. If the more God exists, then go back and
have you ever seen anything like that? Apparently, Kolidowo is familiar with that kind of teaching. Ladies and gentlemen, enough is enough. For the whole of Cameroon, Biya has got to go. You know, just like Yaya, AJJ, Jame, Babili, Mansa. And for Southern Cameroon, they need to stop marginalizing these people. And I like to say to protesters, please don't be violent. Because I've seen a video where a boy was going to school and English speakers were beating this boy because he didn't join the strike. I've also seen where English protesters were disrupting a school because the school did not join in the strike.
Actually, students, Anglophone students from other schools have been sent home forcefully by the youth here in Limbe.
Some of the students and teachers are in shock.
There is no need to be violent, please. But you know the most important thing is, when would the French-speaking part of Cameroon join the protest? You cannot ignore that this is happening in your country, even if you speak French. This is happening in your country. You are in the same country and this is happening and you're not saying anything. And even if you are not interested in fighting for Southern Cameroon today, you should at least fight for your own freedom. Isn't 34 years under Biya enough? If you let him do this to Southern Cameroon, when he's done with them, where do you think he's coming to? He would come to Northern Cameroon. Once a dictator, always a dictator. He would never want to leave. I'm just saying. And Cameroonians in France also need to put pressure on the France government until they let Cameroon be. We need awareness. French people need to know the atrocities that their government is committing in Africa. And it's not like I'm blaming everything on France. Majority of the blame has to do with us Africans. True freedom will not come from France. You know, we can't really put all the blame on France. Direct colonization has ended decades ago. So we need to stand up and fight for our rights. We need to stand up and do the right thing. If we don't, then we can't really blame France. Huge kudos to all the Cameroonians abroad that have joined the protests in Canada, in the US, in UK, different parts of the world. You know, I was not surprised when I saw Cameroonians in London who marched to France embassy to give them a petition. The petition was basically saying they need to call their puppets, you know, Paul Biya to order. And the embassy refused to collect the petition.
We are not leaving this place to then receive our petition now. Yes, they give us an acknowledgement that they received that petition. We are not leaving here.
Just imagine, is anyone surprised? Because I'm not surprised.
We reject you here. We renounce you here. We
You need to know what these people are going through so you can feel their pains. Both English and French part of Cameroon can live together just like they do in Canada. I mean, Canada has French-speaking regions and English-speaking regions, and they live in peace. Either Biya wants it or not, it's time for him to leave. He needs to leave along with all his corrupt ministers. It's time to kick him out, you know, just like Yaya Jammeh of Gambia. Do I get a name, eh? Amen! Amen, somebody! You guys not doing anything. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real.